Hi there, I figured I probably should do some kind of introduction to this little experiment, which is I'm trying to get this 1983 AMC Eagle SX4 that at one time was probably a really nice car, black and a 5-speed, the tow hitch, got the sport package with the rally gauges. It's, air conditioning. It's got everything on it, really. And for some reason, I really like these cars. Generally, this is completely out of my wheelhouse as far as something that I have the knowledge or ability to fix and restore. But my wife told me I can't do it. So here we go to buy this thing and bring it home to see if we can do it. Try to prove her wrong. I got Hank back here sleeping. He's going to be my helper for today to try to get this thing. And I don't think it's moved in probably a decade, to be honest with you. If it has, very little. And it's got some pretty heavy surface rust to some mild scaling on different things. I think that even if I manage to get this thing onto the trailer and home today, I think there's still going to be challenges every time I work on it, just with the amount of rust that there is on the nuts and bolts underneath. Is going to be an adventure, and I don't have professional type tools. This is, an old fat guy with a toolbox of hand tools, and I may be picking up some tools along the way that I need to do things as I learn what in the heck I'm doing here. But I'm going to give it an honest effort and try to get this thing. The first goal is to get it drivable so that I can take my wife to lunch in it and prove to her that I fixed it. And then I'm going to try to make it look nice and be a little bit dependable, hopefully, so that it can be driven and enjoyed, and maybe even get this thing painted and make it look nice and fresh again. So we'll see. At first, I thought I was going to try to go kind of hardcore back to everything original. I've done a few cars where we've done hopped up motors and things like that, and I wanted to try to make this one more original, just because these cars are getting more and more rare all the time and harder to find in decent condition. But it's also getting harder and harder to find all the parts, and I find that every time I start to think about something, then I decide, I want a little bit more power, or I want a winch on the front, or I want a little extra lift, or something. So it's probably going to be closer to stock than I normally would do, but it's probably not going to be exactly stock. Although I am going to try to keep the original motor. I'm going to try to keep the original drivetrain. All that stuff that's there. It appears this car is pretty intact. It's filthy, and it's got a ton of wasp nests and God only knows what else living in it, but I'm going to try to keep it as original from that side of things as I can. I'm not going to put a LS engine or a 350 small block or anything like that into this one. We're going to try to keep the original AMC inline 6. I haven't done a compression test. I don't know if the pistons are seized in there. I don't know if the tires are locked. The brakes are surely a mess. I don't know what the transmission's going to be like. I've done the videos that are on the YouTube channel. I've done literally a walk around, looked at a few things, felt a few things. I really didn't have the intention at that time of being the one to buy this and try to fix it. I was doing it more for kind of the community on Facebook and the SX4 group and the AMC group, where it was originally posted as something that this lady was looking to move. It was her uncle's car, and has been kind of a piece of her childhood. So I think it's kind of hard for her to watch it go. But hopefully she'll be able to watch on YouTube, and I can restore this thing enough that it'll at least give her some joy in seeing it come back to life. A little more pressure on me, I guess, but it's something I'm really looking forward to doing. I did not sleep good last night. It's Saturday, November 14th, 2025. I was kind of like a kid on Christmas last night. My wife actually left and went up to our home in Michigan and is enjoying that. And I thought, well, I'll go to bed early and get a good night's rest. And I was like a little kid waiting for Santa Claus. I don't know why I'm so excited about getting this thing, but I really am, and it's way out of my skill set. But I'm excited to learn on it and try to see what I can do and just have some fun with it. And I believe I can fix it. I've always told her I can fix anything, so I may not fix it right, but I may not fix it how it was when it started, but I can fix it. So we'll see what happens. And, you know, hopefully I make this 3-hour drive down to Evansville where I'm picking it up and get it on the trailer without too many problems. I know there will be some challenges, which I'll try to document, excuse me, document along the way. But right now it's sitting on probably 3, if not 4 flat tires. They do have some turbine rims with some old tires, but at least they look like they're holding air. So my intention is to try to get those onto the car. So hopefully it will be able to roll and I can get it onto this U-Haul trailer. I'm doing it myself, so it's going to be, I'm not as strong as I once was, so I don't think I can just push this thing up the ramps and onto the trailer. So I've got a couple little tricks in the back of the truck. I'm hoping it'll work with the easy one where I have a car battery and a little winch in a box that hopefully I can hook up and simply winch this thing up onto the trailer. If it went that easy, I would be thrilled with where I'm at in this process. I really am kind of wanting to take it into a truck wash or a car wash and just spray off some of the mold and the grime and the goo and stuff just to do it, because it'll be fun to watch it come, you know, even though it's all rusty and everything, it's going to be fun to watch it get a little bit clean. I don't know if I'll get to do that or not, and without having my own trailer, if I don't do it while I have this trailer, it's going to probably be a while before this thing gets cleaned. So the one thing it won't be is sitting exposed to the winter. At the very least, I've got a car cover for it, so it'll at least be covered up, sitting up close to my garage in Michigan. And if I can rearrange a few things, I've got some dollies that I'm going to put it on. I might be able to stuff this thing into the garage and let it be out of the weather for the winter, which would be great. We just got the garage all sort of redone on siding and insulation and stuff. I still have the ugliest garage door on the planet on it, and it doesn't work that well, but it will keep snow out, so that would be a plus. But that's where we stand. I'm tired already. It's 8 in the morning. I'm about 45 minutes into this drive. We had a little challenge getting the U-Haul trailer. Not their fault by any means. It just was whoever dropped it before didn't drop it in the right spot, and we'd been all over the lot looking for it, and one of the people that worked there found it on the wrong side of the building. So instead of being a 10-minute pickup, it was a 25-minute pickup. It wasn't that big a deal, really. And the people at our U-Haul in Castleton area of Indianapolis, they're really good to work with. They're very nice. They have the trailers I can't speak enough about. They're a low center of gravity. They tow great. I'm towing it right now, you know, driving down to Evansville, and obviously there's nothing on it, but I'm not even in tow mode. I'm just pulling the thing with the truck. You know, I've got this Ram RHO, and it tows fine. But I'll have to put it in tow mode when I'm coming back, which will mean my gas mileage will go to hell in a handbasket, I'm sure. But in any case, we're on our way, so I'll keep you updated and keep me updated, because I'm documenting this as much for me as anybody else, to be honest. But hopefully this thing will go smooth and I won't embarrass myself on the first day. All right, we've made it to the car. Been around it once with PB Blaster and sprayed the lug nuts. Got the passenger side door to start latching again. And so we're sitting here. This one's pretty seized up. I may have to tie this one shut, but we'll see what we can do. Try and make sure we're in neutral and get the tires switched over. See if we can't get it up onto this trailer. See what happens. This is the first hurdle of proving my wife wrong. Well, we've got it onto the trailer. Wasn't quite as easy as maybe I had hoped. This side actually was great. We've got the tires on. They're at least mostly holding air. There's a slow leak, I think, in the front one. The back one looks like it's holding air really good. But you can see the stance improved tremendously just by putting tires that had air on them. It kind of stood up and looks like it's supposed to. So that's going to be nice. We got over to this side, and this wheel in the rear is locked up and not turning, so that one's going to be a fun one to figure out. And then the front one, the valve stem was broke off of the last rim tire, so we couldn't put that same rim on. And this one held air about long enough to really probably to get it back mounted. We kind of drug it on very low, but it's on. It was an effort, so thank you to everybody that helped. I'm not going to give names out on YouTube of people, but certainly appreciate the help of the two people that helped me get this thing onto the trailer, because it was an effort. My little winch in a box did a good job, but it did end up smoking the engine as we were trying to drag it on the last little bit. We did manage to get the doors PB blasted, and so this one actually works like it's supposed to. The other one you have to open from the inside, but they're both latching now, so I should be able to at least drive this thing on the trailer and not have to worry about the doors flying open on the road or something. So next part of our adventure now is to get home, maybe see if we can get this thing up to Michigan even tonight, and then unload. But when I get up there to unload, we do have a Jeep with a bigger winch, so that should be a heck of a lot easier than the battle we just had. But the journey continues, and much to my wife's dismay, we got it onto the trailer. Well, we successfully made it to the Fisher's home, and I'm going to try to have a dinner and relax and get the other dogs, and then maybe we'll all head up to Michigan tonight. I haven't decided entirely, but probably have to get this thing moving pretty soon. My HOA will probably complain the way they are, just because of the fact that there's a car that's not in perfect, pristine condition. So we'll get going on it. But we did make it back to Fisher's.